Hello, women of the channel. I'm Jacquie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I have the pleasure of getting to know Jaime Cooper Brown, North America Channel Solution and Services Director with Lenovo. Hi, Jaime. Thank you so much for
Hi,
joining me today.
it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well, I'm really excited. So let's start off with our icebreaker questions because those are always fun. Where did you grow up?
I love this question. At first, I didn't love this question because I grew up in Newfoundland, Canada. And Newfoundland, I know. I love it now because actually it's become a great icebreaker. I'm proud of the small little island on the east coast of Canada. It's actually the most northeasterly point in North America. I was born and raised here. I grew up watching icebergs drift. I watched whales in the summer. And then I was fortunate that in the winter months, I was able to do some snowmobiling as well as some skiing with my family. So it's truly a place I cherish and love.
That is very cool and unexpected. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, are you a plan everything girl or go with the flow?
I think I'm a little bit of both, to be honest. I like to be like organized and structured, especially for big events or like during the week.
Hmm.
When it comes to the weekends, I'm go with the flow. Honestly, it's more about what activities my kids have, trying to keep it simple and flexible. But then when it comes to vacations, I'll be honest, I'm more or less go with the flow. You organize it, I'll be there whenever, however I can get there.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that. I'm usually the organizer, but I
No.
don't want to be. Home life is the place where I want to be like free and like you tell me where to
Yeah.
go. That's a good balance. I love that.
Yeah. And I think as my kids have gotten older, I think you naturally have to go with the flow, because they're so independent, but then they still need you. So it's one of those
Yes.
balances.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. All right, Jamie. So let's dive into your career. We all have those inflection points in our career. So, what was the turning point for you?
I'll be honest with you. I think it was when I joined the services and solutions group. It was probably about 10 years ago, where it was a new business unit. There was a lot of unknowns, a lot of challenges, a lot of hard work to be done. But then I was like, is this going to be like rewarding? Are we going to do really well? And so I just jumped in. Um, Basically, it was a lot of change from the get go. But that's when I truly have to say I realized I love change. I always say to my team, if you don't like change, SSG is not really a great place for you because I really realized that change was a game changer in my career. And so what that does is it helps you really learn to trust your instincts, pivot when you need to, kind of think on your feet. Don't be afraid. A steady state isn't a reality. And so for me, that was a big change. Also, along the way, I would say that I had this phenomenal leader that had kind of joined the team a couple of months after. And she was truly amazing leader. She would give you opportunities or push you towards things that you were just like, why me? Like, why is she asking me to do this? And so basically, you'd be in a situation where she pushed you out of your comfort zone. That could be for customer presentations, I don't know, building out a proposal, asking for dollars or headcount. She always kind of wanted the best version of you. And so it was such a exciting point because I got to kind of experience two things right in that part of my career. She helped me build my confidence and honestly that it's just been something that I've been so proud to be a part of, when I think back of my career.
Yeah, I love that perspective and that this is coming up. Because yeah, change can be scary for people, but you brought up so many good points and how it kind of pushes our boundaries. And I mean, quite honestly, it makes things less boring too, because you're always doing something new or, excited, nervous about the next thing or what it is that you're challenging yourself with. So
Yeah. I
that
love
that's
the
awesome.
aspect of, like, every day was a new day. Now some days were, like, really hard and you weren't really
Sure.
sure, but I will say that it allowed you to have a different perspective and learn things, and so, I don't know, I just think of that like, that point in time, and it's been amazing, right, when I think back
Yeah.
a couple of years for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, speaking of amazing, what business accomplishment are you most proud of and why does it matter to you?
Mhm. I think in our career, we have multiple or, many noteworthy, accomplishments that we've experienced. I would say that I kind of go back to now, right? In my current role and what I've been doing over the last 6 to 7 years and really around leading and mentoring. I really, I've been fortunate to kind of watch folks grow and succeed. I've been part of the women of the leadership at Lenovo, women of the channel. And being part of helping mentoring folks is kind of like a game changer. And when you've experienced that through your career, you want to kind of give back as well. I had a situation that recently occurred where I had a channel account manager that was looking to come over to the services and solutions group, in the channel. And so she came over into the role and she excelled quickly. She was so professional, her calm approach. She just grew in the role quarter over quarter. She did quite well year over year, won awards, recognition, the whole 9 yards. And then as she got to a certain point in her career, it was like, hey, well, what's next, Jamie? Like, how do I get into leadership? Like, what do we do here? And so kind of helping her network and be part of special projects, some courses that'll help her lean into leadership. And now I'm happy to say that she's my peer. Like she's on the team of the services and solutions leadership group. And, it's been quite refreshing to kind of watch her in her journey and, pay it forward.
Jamie, it's quite refreshing watching you talk about this. Yes. I
Yeah,
love
I get
that
a little
that's what you
emotional on
chose.
this because I'm so
Yeah.
thankful, like, to watch that. And sometimes you don't even realize you're doing or being part of
Yeah.
process until you kind of reflect back or the person, kind of shares their thoughts with you.
Awesome. All right. What early experiences or roles helped prepare you for leadership, even if it maybe didn't feel that way at the time?
Yeah. I thought a lot about like I think about this a little differently. I'll never forget because I've been at Lenovo for 24 years. So we were at IBM uh, just prior to the transition, and I had taken a not like an individual contributor role. It was a sales support manager role. And I had been in sales for quite some time at that point in my career. And it was an analytical role, but it was like I knew I kind of had to kind of, I guess, skill myself and do different things and level up. And so I had taken a sales support role. It's so analytical. And quickly did I learn that I'm more on the relationship side of the house. And so in that role, while I didn't love the day to day, I learned so much. I learned so much about data, like how to digest the data, how to split the data, look at the data differently, present the data. It was such an analytical role. When taking that time to learn and then allowing it to see what the big picture is when you view your business is key. I mean, I don't really think I'd be who I am today if I didn't really kind of take on that type of role to learn like the bigger picture of how to roll up your business day to day. So yeah, it was tough, but I think sometimes you got to do tough jobs to kind of level up, right?
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said that better myself. This time goes by so fast, but I want to do one more question. What is something that recharges you when things get busy?
I think a couple of things that come to mind for me would be truly my family. My husband is a phenomenal cook. So I say
Oh, you're
cook.
so lucky.
I don't cook, So he's a chef and, well, not a chef day to day, but he loves that's kind of his hobby, I would say. And so he's very focused on family dinners. And so we do multiple family dinners a week and we really kind of focus on that. And so it's great because it kind of resets you, right? At the end of the day that you're just kind of going to be brought back to reality of your family and kind of how their day was and their challenges. So that's been kind of I think for me, I know that that's something that's at the end of the day. So I look forward to that. I also think for me, I love how I start my days. Get up early, go to the gym, I do a spin class, or I went this morning, where I kind of take that breather for my mind and my body, just to kind of start the day. It took me a while to get into that proper habit, but I do feel that it grounds you a little and kind of keeps you focused. And then lastly, I think it's my inner circle, my peeps. I'll say, that I have some folks I worked with along the way in my career that are maybe not at Lenovo still. And then, of course, my circle of trusted friends and peers that I have at work where we socialize, challenges or, hey, I need help. Or do you think I've done this right? Should I approach it this
Mhm.
way? I love those women. And without those women, I wouldn't know really how to survive maybe some days. I mean,
Fair.
there's a few guys in the mix too. Don't I won't take that away, but I do think having your inner circle of trusted folks is really important. when you have like when you're in a leadership role or when you're, kind of have a high intense day, right? You need some folks
Yeah.
to lean into for sure.
Jamie, it was an absolute joy getting to know you, and thank you so much for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Aw, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, community members, please give Jamie your high fives and comment below. Share your insights. This is how we grow and learn together. So until next time, have an amazing week.